Hello, am I talking to Swarup?
Yeah, speaking.
Hi, Swarup. This is Saurabh calling from Infosys.
Hey, hi, sir. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I think, have you been informed that probably we can have a discussion today?
Yes, yes. I'm just waiting for the call. Actually, it was scheduled yesterday, but I think the panel was busy, so I got
Yes,
updated from HR saying that the call will be there today.
yes, right.
Okay.
So, uh, uh, so just let me know. Can we start off with your profile first?
Yeah.
And I've got a CV in front of me, and just to start it, we're looking for people who are very strong in DevOps.
Okay.
And as pretty hands-on. So just wanted to understand as to what your experiences are.
Okay. Sure.
Uh, yeah,
Okay.
so just tell me about your
Yeah.
experiences, starting from the most
Okay.
and what you're doing in DevOps.
Okay. So, my name is Swarup, and I have 5 years of experience in IT industry. And almost all my experience is into DevOps practice, and I have exposure on all the major tools which we're using in DevOps practice right now.
Swarup, I'm not able to hear. Swarup, I'm not able to hear you correctly. Are you on a speakerphone or something?
Yeah, just give me a moment. Actually, is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, better. Okay, let me continue. Actually, I will start from the first again.
Can,
uh,
can you talk or
yeah, yeah, we can go ahead. Actually, I mean, I am comfortable now if you are able to hear properly. Okay. So I have 5 years of experience, and most of my experience is into DevOps practice, and I got good exposure on working with the different tools, and I am capable of building the infrastructure independently and doing continuous integration. So most of the technologies what I have used so far is like I have good exposure on the services in AWS for building the cloud infrastructure, and Jenkins as continuous integration tool, and Git for version control system. And I do have experience in container level for doing the dockerization and running the containers from the images what we have created. And I have experience in Vagrant as well for creating the virtual servers for development and testing teams, so that they can carry out their tasks. If they are done with their work, then we will use to destroy those boxes in local environment. And apart from that, coming to cloud, I have good exposure in creating the instances, maintaining the AMIs, taking the snapshots, attaching the volumes, creating the VPCs, doing auto scale configurations. Those kind of experience I have. And continuous integration Jenkins we are using right now, and I have good exposure on Jenkins as well, where I have exposure in build part for job configuration and build activities, and user administration part, and as well as master slave configuration. And in Git, currently my project, like I am working for an US healthcare domain, where we are working in agile methodology. So we are practicing the agile. So most of our sprints will be carried out in 3 weeks, and we are maintaining a separate branch for every sprint. And after 3 sprint, major release will happen, and the product will go to the customers. With this, we used to create different branches based on the sprints. Once the testing is done on the sprint code, what we have in that particular branch, then we will be merging that code into the master branch. And those kind of continuous integration activities we will be looking in on daily basis. And apart from this, I have exposure on Ansible configuration management as well, where we are configuring different servers in our environment, so that there will be no manual work to do the IT infrastructure automation. We are using Ansible right now. So I was involved in setting up the Ansible in our environment from the scratch, creating the inventory files, creating the SSH configurations from one server to another server, passwordless logins, and making Ansible installed, and checking whether the servers are properly listening to the base box what we have. Those kind of activities I have good exposure. So that's brief experience like what I have till now.
right?
Yeah.
How much experience do you have in Git?
Jenkins, yeah, I'm familiar with the Jenkins. Like, I mean, the concepts what we have in Jenkins, like.
How much experience do you have in the source control tool, GitHub?
Uh,
Have you used it?
yes, GitHub, I have experience. Like, I mean, almost
How have you used
more than 3 years we are using Git only.
for that 3 years? Have you used that as an administrator or is it just user?
No, actually, like, I mean, the project what we are handling is not that big, so like most of the work will be carried out by our team only. Like, I mean, it's a kind of we will be looking into the administration part as well. Like, I mean, for creating the new branches and taking care of the Git and cloning the Git with our Jenkins. Like, I mean, configuring it with our Jenkins. Those kind of activities also I have
Right.
taken.
Right. And what sort of branching strategy have you used?
Yeah,
So
branching.
can you tell me
The
some
branching.
some of the branches that you will create for a project?
Yeah, sure. Like, I mean, I will explain the branching strategy what we have right now in my project. So, like in our project, we are maintaining a master branch. So, for every we are making copy of two master branches. Actually, there are two master branches. On one master branch is like a backup for our code, and another master branch from which we will be copying the source code and creating the branch for each sprint. Our sprints will start with numeric format, like, I mean, 2605, 2606, 2607, 2608, like that. So based on that sprint numbering, we used to create a branch, and then we used to clone the code from master branch to this branch. And we already kept an backup of that. Why? Because we are giving access to the master branch as well for the developers to merge their code on daily basis. So, like, I mean, to make sure, like, if something went wrong and if accidentally the master branch is removed, then we are making a backup of that one so that we can revert those changes from the backup copy in the Git.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You use Jenkins,
Yes, I have used Jenkins.
and you said that you used at an administrative level, maintaining users
Yes.
and creating jobs and effects. So,
Yeah.
what sort of user metrics do you use?
Project-based metrics we are using right now.
Can you define what is the project-based metric?
So, like, I mean, project based means, like, I mean, based on the project. See, like, I mean, we have different teams here over here. So, like, we can give the restricted access. Like, they can only go and trigger the build. So, like, they can only able to access the build now option. Like, I mean, someone will go ahead and see the console output. Those kind of activities. They, like, if you go to the user administration, security user administration, there we can see the under user part we can be having a lot of, like, I mean, use Jenkins database, and what we are using is, like, I mean, project based that, like, I mean, when we select that, you will be getting options in the radio buttons below to that checkbox, so that, like, I mean, based on our requirement we used to give those access to the users.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you heard of role-based metric?
Role based metric means, like, I mean, it's role. Yeah, LDAP role based metric. Yeah, actually, like, I mean, role based, like, it is an based on a plugin. Like, I mean, to activate the role based strategy, the method is like under a Jenkins configuration system. Like, I mean, we need to define and assign roles by using, like, manage roles item, which will be, like, I mean, visible under manage Jenkins screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you tell me that if you're migrating Jenkins from one instance to another,
Okay.
have you done that sort of migration?
Actually, we are doing, but I am not involved. But I have idea. Like, I mean, I used to see those templates and the roadmaps what they have created.
Right. So assuming that you got a project in a
Okay.
which is a standalone Jenkins, you're migrating to project to another instance of Jenkins.
Okay.
Can you tell me how do you migrate the job?
Actually, job, see, like, I mean, whenever we install Jenkins, Then like on our server, if we are using Unix boxes, so like under our server we can see the Jenkins directory will get created. Under Jenkins directory you will be having different directories like workspace, jobs, plugins. So like if you want to copy a particular job, then go and copy the entire directory to the remote server. Then this particular job will be available on that server as well after doing migration.
Right.
Yeah.
And so how would you ensure that you copy the job from one instance to another?
Ensure means like on remote field.
What are the items that you would copy?
Okay, like we used to do like FTP or SCP. We will first create a Jenkins.
No, I'm not telling you. So how would you copy?
Huh.
What are the files that you would copy? To copy a job from one instance to another.
Job copying, right? Like we will copy the complete Jenkins itself. Like most of the times, that is what I know. Like anything else, like.
Did you understand the question?
No, actually, can you come again one more time so that
Okay,
like I mean.
I'll repeat the question again.
Okay.
So you've got one instance of Jenkins. So you've got a project, right?
Okay.
So this project contains 10 different jobs.
Okay. Okay.
You're migrating this project from one instance of Jenkins to another instance of Jenkins.
Okay.
Okay. So how would you do that? Will you copy? What are the files of the job that you would copy? Or what are the folders that you would copy?
Okay.
Or how would you copy?
Okay, like you are asking like how we can copy a complete job, like okay. So like
Yes. How do you copy complete project from one?
Okay. Like that is like cloning an already existing job on one server to another server. So like on this, like click new item. Like on new item, if we click, then we will get a name or our name of our job. Then select. There will be one radio button for copying existing item, and then like select that and give.
But the job is in another instance of Jenkins. It's not on the server.
Okay.
Copying from one server to another server.
Okay. Like.
Do you understand? There's like a Jenkins one dot company name dot com, right? And the other is Jenkins 2.companyname.com.
Okay.
You're copying from Jenkins 1 server to Jenkins 2 server. What would you copy?
So for this, like there is complete copy project also under our dashboard. Option of copy project.
Okay, all right. Now, can you have you used any build tools like Ant, Maven?
We have used Apache Maven.
Have you used Maven?
I used like only Apache Maven. Why? Because all of our code is in Java only. Yes, Apache Maven. Hey Saurabh, like voice is bit breaking. Like I'm not able to hear you.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me as to what is the advantage of using Maven?
See, like Maven is like a build tool. So like in Maven, we can define the dependencies. So based on our dependencies, the code will get called and it will build. So like it's a kind of build tool. Actually, it is more powerful. Like if you see like based on those instructions only, our code will get built. So it's like project object model we call as like POM, and like there will be file called pom.xml file which will contain all the information of project and the configuration information related to that project, and there we will be having dependencies and the build directory, code directory, and then we can define like every information related to the test source directory, plugins, goals.
Can you tell me what are the pages of a build like?
Okay, so like we need to have like particular mandatory elements when we are creating a Maven script. That is, first thing is like project, then model version. I think then group ID and artifact ID are also mandatory. Suppose if we see like a form.xml file and there will be version also in that. First we will start with the project. We will mention the project information, then the model version of that project, then group ID and artifact ID, and then version come into picture. Once that is done, like that is mandatory fields. After that, we can define few of the dependencies, like group ID, JUnits and artifact IDs, and the scope, whether it is test environment or something like that.
Right.
Yep.
Can you tell me a life cycle of an application in terms of DevOps?
Sorry, come again. Actually, voice is bit breaking.
Do you want me to
Repeat.
try calling again?
No. Actually, maybe the distance with the phone, sometimes it is getting a bit. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So my question is, can you define the life cycle of code? How the code gets converted into into binaries, where does it store, and how do you tell me the entire life cycle?
Okay, you mean to say like the DevOps pipeline, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So when you do a continuous integration, what happens? When you do a continuous deployment, what happens?
Yeah, sure.
What are the things that you can do? I just need to understand as to how in depth your.
Yeah, sure. I will tell you what exactly the DevOps is.
Have you worked in Artifactory or Nexus?
Sorry?
Have you worked in Artifactory or Nexus?
Actually, Nexus we work, but actually I was not involved in that integration part of Nexus. Why? Because it was already integrated and it's very stable in our environment. So I don't have much in-depth understanding of Nexus, but I know Nexus is for Artifactory maintaining for Jenkins. I will tell you the complete flow. If something is if I am missing, then I can tell you if I am weak on that particular area. So normally speaking, the developers, whenever they write the code and they will check in the code into the Git. So for doing that, first they will copy the code into their local repository. So then once they make the changes, then they used to commit the changes to the Git. So once we have the changes in the Git, I need to do a continuous integration on that code on every day basis. Why? Because if I do continuous integration after 1 month after making the changes, then it will be very hard to find at which point of time exactly the build got failed. Those kind of issues will be there. So to overcome that issues, we will be doing continuous integration on daily basis. So for that, if we want to do a continuous integration, then we need to have a build tool, that is Apache Maven, what we are using, but we have different tools like Ant, Nant, Gradle in market. Build tool is nothing but we will be having the dependencies. Based on the dependencies, your code will get called and it will be executed, and your artifact will be available through Jenkins once every step is successful. So we will be having the targets. If all the targets are met and if everything is run, then the build will be delivered. In the workspace, we can see that. If something went wrong in between, then we can check the console output in the Jenkins itself, so that it will give a brief idea which all the steps has been executed in the form.xml file, and it will show the clear error and the issue where exactly it got failed, so that it will be very easy to troubleshoot and at what line of code it exactly break and which developer has committed those changes. Every information will be there. Why? Because when developers are committing, then they used to do a commit message for that, so that we can easily identify that. So once your artifact is ready, then your .war file will be available. Then we have two environments in our company. We have continuous integration along with continuous deployment as well. And for few of the environments, actually QA will come and they used to manually take the build and apply on their servers. And another thing is we are directly doing the continuous deployment for a few of our central services teams. So before doing that, we will push the code directly into the pre-production servers. Once we see everything is running fine by.
Hold on.
Yeah.
One question. When you're doing the builds, continuous integration,
okay,
and you get an artifact, let's say a jar file or WAR file, where does it go that artifact?
Like, I mean, it will be stored in the Artifactory only in our local, I mean, we have one particular dedicated server for storing that Artifactory.
Have you used Artifactory?
Sorry?
Have you used Artifactory?
No, I have not a good exposure on that Artifactory and Nexus actually.
Okay.
But we used to access that GUI of the Nexus.
Do you know what is the advantage of an asset management software?
Yes, like actually, like, I mean, it will keep track of all the builds like which are coming, and it will keep track of like which all the builds has been applied on particular server. Like, I mean, we will get a clear idea like which build is applied and those things, and we have few more plugins associated with Nexus at EC2 instances where we can do the provisioning and we can directly push our code into the EC2 instances rather than manual intervention.
Okay. So you said that you have used AWS, right?
AWS, yes.
And so have you? So can you tell me? So what would you do currently now? So when your Jenkins has built your artifact,
okay.
where do you place it now? Do you place it in the
No, actually, like, I mean, we have a dedicated server where we will be having the workspace. Under workspace only we are storing them, and we are removing the builds like which are older than 1 week on a weekly basis. We have an inbuilt script in our
okay, so you're currently using a server where you put in the workspace.
Yes.
So any and what is the promise that you need from the workspace and putting in
Saurabh, like, I mean, I'm sorry to say, like, I mean, still again, like, I used to feel the disturbance. Can you, like, I mean...
So you're not able to hear me, is it?
Yes, now it's fine.
Okay. All right, so how would you do the deployments?
Deployments?
Yes.
Actually, we have one portal that is ECC, Enterprise Control Center. So, like, our QAs used to go and download the builds from that link. So that link is interlinked like with the Linux machine, like where we are storing our builds in the workspace. So from there they used to copy the build on their local machine and they used to apply it from there only. Like, I mean, we are using the application servers also. Like, we are directly deploying that war into our QA environment.
No, my question is, have you done automated deployment?
No, no automation. But, like, I mean, we have few servers where we are using Ansible for continuous deployment. We have written few of the playbooks.
How would you use Ansible for deployment?
So, like, I mean, we are maintaining an inventory file on one of the base box where Ansible has been installed. And from that base box we used to control all the servers by using SSH connection. Why? Because Ansible only works with an SSH configuration. There is no need to install agent again on remote server. So with this we used to write a few playbooks, like, I mean, which will directly copy code, that is our Artifactory, means that piece of code in the workspace directly into that server. So it's like, I mean, simple copy ACP playbook what we are using for doing that continuous deployment.
Okay. So you use Ansible for deployment directly, right?
Yeah.
Have you used any testing tools? Automated testing?
No, actually we don't have much. Why? Because most of our applications are window-based application. Right now there is one POC going on for implementing the ALM test cases, which is an HP tool, but it is not yet decided. Actually, still R&D is going on. Team is working on that. So once if it is finalized, then I think like we may need to integrate that test server with Jenkins, so that automation test cases will run at build level only, so that we can ensure that once the build is available, then the build is working fine.
And how would good at your scripting skills?
Yes, scripting I have Unix shell scripting, but I don't have much idea on Python. But I started learning Python on my own.
So, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, tell me about I'm just asking you your opinion on how you think you feel now.
Okay.
So, let's start with Jenkins from the scale of 10. If I give you just a server and you need to install and configure Jenkins and set up the jobs, the project,
Okay.
how would I, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable would you feel?
Like I can say, I used to do like this setup. Different customers comes and they used to come with different requirements. So I have did this so many times. I am very confident about this. Like I can rate 7 out of 10.
You're very confident?
Yes.
Okay.
7 out of 10 I can.
So what did you say?
7.
7 out of 10.
Yes.
And how comfortable are you in scripting? Scripting, when I say, probably I'm referring to Bash script, Perl, any scripting language that you're...
I can say 5. Why? Because it will be too vast. When we really see the application, then we can say what will be the scope there. I can't know what exactly the profile and how complex scripting they required. But I'm very I can easily pick the scripting. It's not a problem from my end right now. I can rate 5. Honestly, no need to say more than that.
And are you hands-on into technology, or you're a lead, or...
No. Actually, we are using. No, actually, apart from the tools which I have told, Docker is the only thing which I prepared on my own, as because it is very hot in the market. Rest of the things, everything, we are in place, in our environment project only.
The rest of it,
yeah.
Can you tell me something which you resolved, which has been very complex, and something which you can feel proud of thinking back?
Yeah, I was involved most of the times in troubleshooting. Yeah, troubleshooting the issues, those kind of issues, which I got appreciated from the client as well for few of the issues which I handled alone. So what was happening is for our pharmacy customers, we are maintaining a website portal where they can log in and they can view their prescription status, when the RX is going to ship and when they are going to get the medication. So what was happened means last week all of a sudden we got a ticket saying that the website is down and customers are complaining that the site is not available. So it was around 1 a.m. for me here in IST, but they called me, so I just logged in from home and tried to check where exactly the issue happened. So first I went to web server and checked whether it is running fine or not. So then my Tomcat server was up and running fine. Then I went to application server and it was also running fine, and then it was listening to the correct port what we are thinking, what as per our documentation the port is the same what it is listening. Then I took a few of the heap dumps and thread dumps to analyze whether any idle threads is causing memory leaks or something like that. Then it was also working fine. Then finally I got a doubt in plugins.xml plugins.xml file to check the port number what we are accessing through Tomcat. Then when I checked the port number there, it was entirely different what we are accessing in the URL. Then I thought this will be the culprit for that issue. Then again I changed it to the right port, and then I just asked for an application server and web server restart. Once the restart is done, then things worked fine as it is, and the customers were able to log in into their web page and they were able to see the status, and the whole process took almost 30 minutes to bring up the website. So it was within the SLAs. Actually SLA we have around 3 hours, but we bring it in half an hour only, and the client was very much happy with the work what we have did on that late night.
Right.
Yeah.
So you reckon you've got some good analytical skills and debugging?
Yes, log analyzing, seeing where exactly the issue is happening and checking basic troubleshooting at Unix OS level also I have exposure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can see that you also work on WebSphere.
Yes. So WebSphere, like user administration part I have did, like doing the deployments as well, and applying the patches, refresh pack, those kind of things, and deploying the WAR file and EAR file, and integrating database with our application server, and creating the JDBC connections, and creating the users inside the application server to access the application server portal, and installing the packages like ND package. But it was my, I got good exposure in my initial project, but right now like the exposure on WebSphere application is bit limited. I'm more involved in these Jenkins and AWS things, but I got exposure in my previous project at a high level for WebSphere as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what sort of Unix administration experience have you had?
Unix administration means I didn't work anywhere like an Unix admin, but as a part of DevOps, allocating the disk spaces, user adds, creating the groups, those kind of things we have did, and checking the RAM sizes, those things, and keep documented how much memory is utilizing, how much CPU utilization is there by using top command, RAM size checking by using free commands, and disk free space.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, just a question. What are you actually looking for from a next role or next challenge? What is the ideal job that you would actually want to work?
Actually, I'm just looking the client what I'm working right now is pretty small, where there are almost 300 employees with them. Now I just want an organization where I will be having good scope to learn myself and grow professionally. I'm not sure how the market is right now, and if I enter into some big organization, there we will be having scope, and most of the things will be documented, and everything will be streamlined, and I can also do those kind of documentations, and I can get the process from big companies, how exactly the business is flowing, and interacting with big clients will be a huge advantage for my profile in future, and working for major clients, maybe if you say Infosys, they have all top banking clients and telecom clients in the market. So if I get some good client to work, it will be an added advantage for my profile in future, and I myself can grow professionally when working with the team, and teamwork and those kind of things will be there in Infosys, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
And how comfortable are you in so in terms of location? What's your location?
Right now I'm not married. I'm bachelor, so I don't have any constraint with location.
Right.
Yeah, I am okay with any location.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Right. I think I'm done with my questions today. Do you have any questions?
Saurabh, if I ask one thing, so can I know what exactly the project and what will be the roles and responsibilities for this position which I am getting interviewed?
Right. We were able to range for roles currently, and
okay.
was trying to analyze what sort of role fitment would you stand in. So there will be the role we've got roles from junior engineer to the senior architect level.
Okay.
So the kind of profile that the program for the profile is experience you are having sort of hands-on role.
Okay.
So probably something that I'm looking for is if I provide you with let's say a project.
Okay.
And you are supposed to first do an assessment on how long.
Okay. Design thinking and planning kind of stuff will also. Okay.
Okay. So one of the tasks that we are currently boarding the analysis of a project and doing the CI/CD implementation.
Okay.
So for which what the general piece of work will be that you'll be assigned to a project, and which will be an application.
Okay.
A legacy application probably, like a Java or .NET or other technology.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be asked to actually first analyze as to what would it take to convert this project into complete CI and CD solution. So we've got a huge range of tools, right? From we've got Jenkins, we've got
Bamboo,
TeamCity. Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a huge range of tools, and we've got an enterprise team who takes care of all these tools.
Okay.
So the generic task the first task would be to analyze the system on your own.
Okay.
And get an estimate and provide an assumptions and have a scope of the application and what it would take to do the complete the continuous integration and deployment solution.
Okay.
So once an estimate is done, probably you'll be a part of the team.
Okay.
Wherein you can actually go ahead look at and start doing the
implementation kind of thing.
Integration and deployment and implementation of the whole application.
Okay.
So that's something that probably I think how comfortable would you feel if you are given a chance to do that?
Yeah, I mean I'm pretty much confident, as I mean I worked in a project which is a kind of very small. I got an exposure in building the things from the scratch. Like I mean, if I see like most of the companies, everything will already be installed and everything will be there, but like I mean the environment which I worked is like we started everything from Git setup to Jenkins and Ansible integration, then EC2.
Most of the tools are at enterprise level. The tools will all be installed.
Okay.
And mostly related to creating the project.
Okay.
The jobs, configuring the jobs, training the new user.
Okay.
So and into like a SEM champion.
Okay, I'm very comfortable with this position. Like I mean from my side I can say like I mean I can give 100% best from my side. I mean I just want to, this is a learning phase for me as well. Like I mean right now the DevOps is like very hot in the market. I need to be in the place where exactly the market is looking for the resource what they need to be having. Like I mean I may be weak in some areas, like I mean if you are asking like artifactory management, those kind of things, like, but I can improve those kind of things if I get like really these kind of projects. Like when I can investigate, I can research and do R&D on those things and get more out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think I'm done with the discussion today.
Okay.
And probably I'll provide my feedback to the HR and
okay.
We'll get back to you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Saurabh. Have a great day ahead. Bye.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Saurabh.
Bye.
Same to you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.